This is the AD History Podcast.
In general, this is all very difficult because there is so little to go on. However, that is very much by design due to his enemies that were trying to make that the case.
Do you think his enemies were trying to erase him from history? And if so, how do you think they were doing it?
I'm going to ask the audience, have you guys ever noticed that when it comes to busts of Romans in particular, that there are far more heads than bodies?
Yes, I have noticed that.
Yes, you would be the one to notice that. Well, there's a reason for that. It's because, and you can actually see the marks on them. What Romans would do in that case is they would either just remove the head entirely from the torso and then place on the head of the new emperor, or they would just remove the face and kind of adjust the hairline a little bit and just a few things, and then slap it onto that, and you can actually see the cracked crease marks where they have done it. It's all over the place. It is absolutely wild.
Never knew about that. That's amazing.
Another thing the Romans were famous for doing was symbolic removal of previously important people from their public statuary. They would make very obvious chisel marks to remove names and acclamations, as I said, in a symbolic gesture of how much they wanted to remove these people. So there's some questions about, as Paul mentioned, these abundance of busts, if you will, where it looks like potential Caligula busts have been altered to be made into the following emperor of Claudius, which I think, Patrick, you'll have more to say about Claudius in a little bit, won't you?
Yes, Claudius is definitely my jam for today's episode. Yeah, what he got up to.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, and the other thing that's interesting, we talked about this last time, Patrick, when we were talking about the Kushan Empire and they're very they're very Greek in appearance coinage. In the case of Caligula, he was actually generous to the public. He would go out to the forum and just start throwing coins at them, and it was a combination of both. Yeah, we got some pocket change coming home, but it was also a big deal because his figure was on it, both his face and on the back. There's a lot of times there's even one where it's him addressing troops, and you get the idea. And so that way you could spread far and wide his image throughout the empire. It's a very nice and interesting form from antiquity, a very early globalized propaganda.
Yes, I was about to say, as Mary Beard put it, a handy way of having, quote, propaganda in your pocket.
Yes. And so what something else his enemies would do, of course, would, get as many of these coins as possible, just start scratching them out. I mean, they really went a long way to get rid of this guy. That's not to be surprised by, just given the way of how he was gone, because this is pretty standard operating procedure, whether you're ruling an empire with a vicious imperial court that's always vying for power in a struggle, or you simply have a new boss. They usually like to come in and just blame everything on the old person and then erase them entirely from the record. We've apparently been doing this for a very, very long time. So I'm sure there's more than a few people out there know who exactly what I'm talking about right now, including both of you guys. I mean, hell.
Yeah. It's such a modern thing, this whole erasing from history. I associate it specifically, of course, with Russia and Trotsky, of course. But to hear it go this far back, that's really interesting to hear.
Be sure to follow and subscribe for upcoming AD History podcast episodes, available wherever podcasts are found.